Welcome to Crescent City with your hosts, Natalie Jean and Jackie Zabrowski.
I'm doing good.
You know, Natalie, you walked in and I really thought that we were going to have to go head to head today. I really thought that we were going to have to duke it out for who was sexiest, but I dare say you win today. You don't want to pit women against other women. I know that. But let's be real. If Amelie and Fury were in a fight, Fury's gonna win.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
That's just a given right there. So
are you basing the hotness on the ability to win the fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
At least maybe that's just how I view the sexiness of women, because I really, really
Who could kill you?
I love a hot, mean woman. And I love one that I'm always like, is she gonna hurt
kiss me, or is she gonna just karate chop my throat?
Battle instead. And so maybe that's not everybody's idea of the sexiest woman, but it is to me, and that's why I've only had toxic relationships with women.
Like that's not healthy.
That
might be a problem.
It's why I'm currently married to a man, and this is okay.
But you don't see those kinds of men, just those kinds of women.
Just those kinds of women. Oh, baby.
But the men, your husband is the opposite of scary.
Is.
I mean, he could physically he's capable of being
he's big.
He could hurt people.
Yeah, but he doesn't, and he's just a big old teddy bear. And I just love, I love it that sometimes he'll be like, you do realize how strong I am. And he could just throw me up over his shoulder. And I'm just like, I forget how strong you are.
And he's saying it as a threat to you.
Yeah. No, he knows I always wanted to bang Gaston, and he knows my feelings about someone just picking them up. I don't want anybody to just pick me up and throw me over their shoulder, but I like it when he does it.
Hear that, folks? It's consensual.
Always. Doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing or if you know me or not. I say, pick me up and throw me right over your shoulder.
Let's not put that out into the internet.
Just be constantly under attack. It's like, don't pick me up. Don't pick me up.
She said she wanted it.
Oh, no, but I will. Although, if I don't know you, I will ragdoll. And I am a lot heavier than you would expect.
Anyone is. If you ragdoll your body, try it. If you've never done that. The reason dancers can do all those crazy moves and have the being thrown over the heads, because the person being lifted is also helping.
Pure muscle.
Even if you're not pure muscle, you still are using your muscles to go against gravity. So if you ever just try to dead weight yourself, it's an entirely different experience picking somebody up like that than somebody who's actively helping you.
Yeah, man. It's why I stopped dragging corpses a long time ago. I'm gonna pay somebody else to do it.
Now she just drags them in the tabloids.
Yeah, I do with my words, and not with violence.
Wordsmith against corpses.
Yep. I go only against the already dead.
You go to the morgues and roast them.
Would you die? Well, you weren't strong enough to live through that. Meanwhile, cut to me crying, looking at the footage of all those people that died yesterday in the airplane crash. But that's fine. Sometimes you just gotta cry about it, everybody.
Let's not talk about that fun.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about roasting corpses instead.
Thank you. Let me just live in this fantasy world today a little bit longer.
Look at us. You know what? All you have to do at home, those of you at home that don't get to dress up for a living, just buy a couple wigs and just put it on. It usually makes you feel better. They're not that expensive. You can get really cheap ones. It just kind of makes you I'm doing something fun and different today.
Yeah, put a wig on
me. Put a wig on it.
I mean, really, though, put a wig on it, because it's a fun thing to do for fat. I know, you don't want to just buy endless wigs, but, if you even just invest in one nice wig, sometimes you just want to change it up. Put on different hair.
Stop dragging those corpses. Buzz all the hair off. Glue it to your head.
Oh, take their hair.
Take their hair.
Cool.
I mean, they're not using it anymore.
You're right. So, Jackie's advice is to grave rob today. So let's get into the
just think of,
or maybe are you being Amelie? I'm being
Amelie
problematic,
Natalie?
Because you're Amelie?
Yes, I'm being Amelie because Amelie's a bitch. Amelie is, in rereading this book, I'm just like, man, I forget how much I want to punch Amelie in the face. And this is why I'm wearing currently my Amelie wig, which are tight ass braids, because I feel like she needs to just undo it a little bit.
Okay.
I think you need to go get those cobwebs scooped out, bitch. Sorry. Sometimes you need to get plugged down.
I think the problem with Amelie is she's not committed to being a bitch. She
You're right.
wants to act like a bitch, but then she's like, sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to. Like, just commit. If you're gonna act like that, just be that.
You're right, because you know what it is? I'm way more impressed by a person that is being a bitch through and through and being like to the core a bitch, but she feels like she's more doing it to suck up and
Yeah.
to make herself be like, you see, I am important.
I'm
and that's
cruel
boring.
as well.
Yeah.
Like, what? If you know morally that that's gross and wrong and you're still doing it, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, or be like, yeah, I know it's wrong because I'm the biggest bitch in the pack.
Yeah.
But she's
Exactly. No.
And that's why you're not getting laid. Sorry.
Sorry, Amelie.
You can't be a flip-flopper if
No,
you
you
want to get
can't.
laid.
No, can't. Unless you find another flip flop, then you got a pair.
Oh, God.
And
then they're
everyone
just,
hates flip flops.
Open
Not
foot.
everybody does, but I hate them, man.
You hate them.
I know it's another controversial take out of my mouth. Hate flip flops with passion. Hate
But
them.
jelly shoes, though.
Oh,
Oh,
no, I love
cut
jelly
me
shoes.
up. I will take it.
Love a jelly shoe. I also love sandaled heels. I love different kinds of open-toed shoes. Flip-flops make me mad, especially on an airplane. Put
Put a real shoe
socks
on. Put at least some socks on. And I mean, I'm sure I've brought up the Katy Perry smelly
Oh, yeah. Oh,
flip-flops
of course you have.
that smell like fruit. And that also fills me with an abject rage that I just think about like, oh, you want your open foot also slightly reeking of fake orange for some reason?
Also, we do have to talk about this book, but I have to say,
And yeah, but we've got more things to say about sandals
About
and corpses,
toes.
okay?
those Katy Perry sandals are not, they're just like a thing you stick in between your big toe and your second toe. There's not even like a strap.
It's bad for your toes because your toes got to grip too hard.
It is very bad. Flip-flops, by the way, maybe why I hate them the most is they are really bad for your shins.
Bad
and
for your toes and your shins.
Yeah. So if you want shin splints, it's a great way to get them.
Yeah. So enjoy your beach experience with your splints, bitches. I'm sorry. It's the
It's
Amelie wig.
Amelie.
It's the wig is so
See,
tight.
You are being Amelie because then you apologize immediately.
Oh my
For
God.
being a bitch.
Yes, I'm being such an Amelie right now. I'm sorry. I'm annoying myself.
Okay, we gotta get into more bad surprise news about Danika.
Yikes.
Danika has more secrets.
She just keeps giving and not in the ways that we're asking for.
Mm-mm. And she just keeps doing this to Bryce. Bryce, in post-mortem, is learning so much about Danika's life that she didn't share with Bryce. And it's
Yeah.
really especially kind of a betrayal, I think, because Bryce had so openly shared herself with Danika and believed Danika was also doing this.
That's
and
what friendship is supposed to be, bitch. Okay.
allegedly. And still, like, she was not telling her all of these things, and Bryce has no perceivable clue why this is happening. And however, in this moment, Bryce is still adamant that Danika was not just selling synth, because if you'll recall, where we left off is Therian. They're sitting on the edge of the river. Therian informs them, unfortunately, they are selling synth on top of the river, and he saw Danika with those shipment boats. But Bryce is saying, no. Whatever. Maybe I don't know Danika as much as I did, but she's not a bad person, or she wasn't a bad person.
Interesting.
And she wasn't selling the drugs. And you're like, are you sure? Are you really sure about that?
Girl, because you're making a lot of assumptions, and the only person you're making an ass out of is you and you.
You and
It's a susu. It's a susu.
It's assume you.
Yeah.
So Hunt is not accepting. He didn't really know Danika, and
Right.
he's like, on paper, this looks pretty bad, Bryce.
Yeah.
And Therian goes on to explain a little bit more about what we've already suspected, that synth was created for medicine, technically, but is being trafficked in the streets to the great detriment of humans.
Oh my God, fentanyl much?
Yeah, it's like the reverse
Fentanyl?
opioid crisis.
Yeah.
Or we have here on Earthside, but this is like one that makes you like hyper.
Magic to death.
Yeah, you get magic to
But
death.
that's like so cool. That's the problem. It's so much cooler than a fentanyl death because there's nothing cool about a fentanyl death. Everybody test your things.
If you're gonna do drugs, I know we've just said this 100 times because we keep talking
I'm
about
gonna
synth,
say it. I will
but
say it every single time.
test if you're gonna do drugs.
Test
if you're gonna
it.
do hard drugs, you better test them.
I'm gonna be so mad at you if I find out you died because you didn't test it.
Yep. They mull over the idea that the synth and horn could be related. And Bryce considers if that's why Danika was seen with shipments on the river. So maybe, Danika was trying to do something with the horn, and that's why she was with the synth. Maybe they're connected. And it does seem at the moment like Bryce is kind of grasping at straws, but...
yeah, a little.
But
maybe it's because the synth fell in her lap, and maybe she was doing something else with it. Maybe she was using it as a deodorant, like people use crystals.
She thought it was flour. She was making cookies.
Girl.
So, we're going to see what's happening here. Brunt returns to the apartment, and Bryce calls Fury while Hunt is at the gym. So Hunt goes downstairs to the apartment gym, and she waits until he's gone because she doesn't really want him to hear the conversation. But she calls Fury. And she's
you're going to beat me up now. I know we're Amelie and Fury right now, but you're going to beat me up.
No.
You're
you
bad.
Can't.
You're bad. You're scary.
I don't know. I don't feel scary today. I feel hormonal because my period's a coming.
That means you're the most scary of them all. Isn't that awesome? Wield that power. You're the most powerful you are all month. Everyone should be running in fear.
Yeah, you never know what's going to come out. You never know which emotion. I don't even know which emotion's going to come out. It's an exciting adventure.
I have to assume this because I haven't bled in a long time, so I try to remember the reverie of strength.
I always forget you don't have periods because the birth control you use.
Yeah, baby, not a long time. I don't even know. I'm barely a woman.
You're a fae.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had the strength, and I wish I had the preternatural beauty. Or
You
do I?
I feel like your skin looks great today.
Thank
Did
you.
you just get a facial or something?
No, it's the mousse. I'm really doubling down on the mousse, man.
It's working.
That mousse life, I tell you, everybody, don't skip on the snail mucin.
Oh, okay, big snail.
I'm big goosh over here. I make no money from the snail's goosh. I don't even know how they squeeze it out of them. I don't know if it comes out of their eyes or...
I hope it's ethical.
Yeah, I bet they're not just ripping the shells off those fucking snails and just
Are
bringing them
they?
out into the CosRX bottles. I don't know what they do.
Don't they naturally excrete slimes?
Or is it like, almonds where they just stick them in a bunch of water and just suck it out?
Well, we don't want to talk about that because there's some water criminals in California.
The
Wonderful company who make all the almond milk stole all of California's water and they own it.
Just drink oat milk instead.
Oat milk is way less bad with water, at least. You have to spread out the milks.
We gotta spread out some milks, everybody. Have a little bit of soy one day, a little bit of can.
Of course, this is all pointless because there's 6 billionaires who actually are causing all the destruction, and they're not going to change.
It's not us.
But, it's still nice to be conscientious on the... As we go careening into the ether. So let's see.
Fury. Sorry.
Crescent City.
Fury.
Back to Crescent City. So Bryce is actually pretty shocked that Fury answers the call because, remember, she's barely spoken to Bryce since the murders. And she just cuts to the chase, barrels directly into Fury. After barely any greeting, she wants to know what Fury knows about Synth and what Danika had to do with it. Fury warns her not to mess with Synth, insinuating Bryce is asking because she wants to party on it.
Fury, it's like you don't even know where Bryce is mentally anymore because you haven't been a friend.
It's really insulting, to be honest. Bryce is pissed, and after clarifying she hasn't done drugs in years, thanks for checking in, by the way, and tells her about receiving intel from the Myrrh. Fury balks, but then concedes that Danika had mentioned something about Synth to her. Incensed, Bryce demands to know how Fury could keep this info from her. But then Fury shoots back that she did tell her to stay away from it, all the way back in the scene where she and Bryce are standing outside the club in chapter 4.
Damn!
She even calls it by name, even though at the time we didn't know what that was and maybe didn't pay attention to it. But in that scene, Fury says, Synth, stay away from it. That's some bad shit.
Oh my God, and I trust Fury. Everything that she says is the truth, unless it can't be.
So she was warning Bryce at the time, but Bryce is she's pissed still, obviously. And she informs Fury that drug might have something to do with Danika's death. But she doesn't know exactly how. She demands to know why Danika wouldn't have told her about this. So Bryce is sort of confronting a few things in this conversation. One, that Fury
Can't
kind of-
answer, though.
but also just like didn't really tell her anything about this like drug. And she's also coming to grips with the fact that like Fury and Danika might have known stuff that also about all of this going on and didn't tell her this whole time.
And what else does Fury know about Danika that she's not telling her?
So she's demanding this, and finally Fury just unloads it. Danika didn't want her to hear about this drug and start taking it.
Judge much?
Bryce is stunned and probably a little humiliated by that, which I would be, that her friends thought so little of her that they needed to keep her from information. Because this synth would, essentially she's just a little human and she might want to be more like her big, strong friends and she would take the drugs. And this is like obviously like so humiliating. And Bryce is on the verge of tears, though she won't let Fury hear it. Fury, sensing that anyway, changes the subject, wanting to get off of this topic, telling her, listen, she'll be in town soon. She's working at the summit. Maybe they can go get dinner or something, which is such an LA invite.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to get lunch.
Yeah, we definitely are going to see each other. We're totally going to hang out, and then you never do. Unless you really want it to happen, and then you make it happen. But I feel like Bryce is so angry in this that, like, comes a point when Bryce does need to realize how much she's grown and realize that she was that person back then. Because let's be real, if you were a human half human, surrounded by magical people, wouldn't you take the drug if it was offered to you? I certainly would. In a fucking heartbeat, I would.
But like, also, there's a level of infantilizing there, especially because they were also partying hard.
Yeah, but they
around
could
her.
take more than she could.
Sure, but like, shouldn't she have informed decisions making about herself? She's an adult.
Yeah,
I don't know. I see her side, but I also feel like if it were me, I'd be like, don't fucking
choose
like
for
if
me.
you're telling me you don't think I can control myself, like what?
Yeah, and that would piss me off. But I also am very aware of the fact that there was a time in my life when I couldn't control myself.
See, this is the difference, I think, between eldest child and youngest child, where I'm like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do. And I'm like, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do.
Or you're just used to having guidance, like from older siblings, where I was just like, and not one's better or worse. It's just like, I control myself in the others.
Forge your own path, and I'm proud of you.
But I think both sides are valid. But anyway, they get off the phone and Bryce feels, well, she's furious at Fury, but she will not be deterred. I was tired when I was writing this. I then wrote, wait, what'd you call me? Deterred.
Well, Jackie and Deterred over here are gonna keep getting through this story, I guess.
What'd you call me?
That does sound like your great shock jock name, though. Deterred.
She gets on a call with Rune and launches into questions about the synth. Rune explains that the info he's gotten from the Medwitch is more focused on finding an antidote.
Which makes sense.
Yes. And she's been testing the Medwitch. She's been testing the venom she's extracted from Hunt because if you recall, when they were in the Night Garden, they were about to get kissing.
Another cock block.
Then they got blocked. They got cocked and blocked by the Crystallos.
By a demon.
By a dumb little demon who doesn't like love, apparently. And Hunt
like,
gets
let
bitten.
them kiss. Can't you attack after they kiss?
Right? Don't you want to see it too?
Fun.
So then he gets bitten by the Crystallos. And when that happened that night, he was like, I can't use my magic. Like, it's stopped. So she's testing it now with this. And she has this theory that she can use her magic to heal someone who's been dosed with Crystallos. Wait, with synth. With synth. I keep getting those things confused. So she's like, wait a second. Maybe because the Crystallos venom like numbs magic, maybe we can use it on synth, which is the thing that like creates too much magic
to suppress it.
Though the conversation is serious, they are having a more sibling-y conversation. Like, Rune and Bryce, even though this is like an intense conversation, they are kind of being more friendly to one another than they had been, and they're kind of like teasing each other.
I love it. I love their sibling-y relationship.
Then they're like, Bryce is teasing him about having a crush on the Med Witch, and it's just things that like very casual conversations that siblings would have that they weren't having for like 10 years or whatever.
And not as just like curt, only the information that needs to be passed and then it's over. They're actually talking.
Yeah. As they talk, Bryce theorizes that perhaps Danika was tasked with tracking down the street synth, only to find out someone was trying to use it to awaken the horn. So her theory, which is plausible, I guess, because she was working for Redner Industries. So like it could be said that she was tasked to go get this stuff off the street. And then in that process, she had intel that somebody was trying to use the synth on the horn. And so that's why she took the horn. It might be that.
I think it's good to explore a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. But she doesn't have proof of any of this, of course. But she's doing whatever gymnastics she can to not believe Danika was doing some underhanded, dork-sided work.
Girl, but
Do you know the dark-sided lady?
Dark-sided?
Dark-sided.
No.
That's from Wife Swap.
Oh, yeah. And I never fell into the trap of wife swap, surprisingly, because I feel like that is something I would really fall hard into.
You can watch retrospectives now. Some of them are really sad.
Really upsetting, yeah.
But that lady's funny.
Okay, that's
She kind of became a queer icon, like, unintentionally.
Fun!
But anyway, let's see. Then Rune reveals something that Bryce was unaware of, that a few years ago, like before everything had happened, Rune and Danika ran into each other at Redner Industries, and Rune asked Danika to convey an apology to Bryce about their old school fight. Danika told him to go fuck himself.
Hell yes.
And it almost took it to blows.
Ain't her fight. You got something to say to Bryce? Go you got a phone. You can give her a text. You can give her a call. No, thank you.
I agree with you. And I, again, have a slightly also other side of it, which is I think Danika's still infantilizing Bryce by not telling her.
Oh, that's where it's wrong. I feel like her standing up for her and saying, you go talk to her yourself. Right. Hell no. I think that's right. But not telling her about it, you're a hundo P right. That she was trying to protect her, but to a point that it wasn't helping anything. You're just keeping her in the dark. And then it borders on lying to her, because then you are just lying to her.
Yeah, again. Bryce doesn't seem angry. At least she doesn't seem shocked that Danika didn't tell her, but also I think appreciated that she did scream at Rune. Like, Rune was telling this as like a kind of a half fond memory, basically being like, Danika really looked out for you, but also wasn't your bigger sister. Like, you were the same age you met in college, and why are you not being told things that happen like that? But anyway, that's just my opinion. In the next chapter, chapter 60, she and Hunt are at the apartment later that night talking about their next moves.
Ugh, I wish it was horizontal moves, but that's not what they're talking about.
No, they have to go save the city.
From the demons or whatever.
She's told all of her theories, and he watches her try to then go onto her computer and log into Danika's old Rednar Industries account as being like not temporary, like a part-time employee. He doesn't necessarily have the same conviction as Bryce that the synth is connected to the horn. So he's kind of just being like, I guess if you want to go down this path, but he sure doesn't mind sitting on the couch next to her while she tries to connect the dots.
Her fingers shook only slightly as she typed in Danika's username, having seen it so many times on her phone in the past. Defendir. Defendir. Defender. She'd never realized it until now. Fury's harsh words rang through her head. Bryce ignored them.
Whoa!
Defender!
Her name's Defender!
Whoa. But it's also, her name.
Well played, Sarah J Maas. Well played.
Yeah, but she's thinking outside of the box, although we're just thinking inside of the box. Have you been working with me for too long? Have you been working me too long, Natalie?
You better work. You better work. I mean it. Make another podcast.
I've got to make the toys. I've got to make the trains. I think I was an elf in that delusion.
What are we talking about?
I think that's when you said get to work. I thought Santa Claus. So that's the only work I know. I know that the elves work, and outside of that, I'm like,
do other people
do things? I don't understand. Do they put on wigs and talk about being horny?
Oh, right. I think that's what everybody does, right?
Yeah.
For work?
It's fine.
Of course, they have the issue of trying to crack her password. If her account even still exists, none of the obvious ones that she tries, or the two, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6s that she tries.
I think she would come up with something probably a little more difficult than that, even back then, even though this was years ago.
Yeah, I feel like
that's true. My password was like sandwich for a really long time.
I feel like Danika also just wouldn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, you're right. She's too busy thinking about all of the other secrets she has to uphold.
Yeah, which again, like, a good password would help her keep the secrets, but girl's got a lot going on. Secrets. So Bryce goes through all of the info they have so far, and as the reader, I think it's helpful because it's helping us relive the exposition going on.
Because you know what? Again, this is a plot that continues to unfold over many, many hundreds of pages, so I appreciate the summary.
So here we go.
Bryce shut her eyes, foot bouncing on the carpet as she recited.
The horn could possibly be healed by the synth in large enough doses.
Ah!
Synthetic magic has obsidian salt as one of its ingredients.
Okay.
The crystallos can be summoned by obsidian salt.
Hunt remained silent as she thought it through.
The crystallos was bred to track the horn.
Mm-hmm.
The crystallos venom can eat away at magic.
Mm-hmm.
The Medwitch wanted some venom to test if it's possible to create an antidote to synth with her magic or something. The last sentence takes Hunt by surprise because he didn't know this new thing that she had just learned from Rune.
It's like every few minutes there's a new huge piece of the puzzle, which is crazy because so much happens in this book. And she's so good at writing such a all over the place mystery, but it is a little difficult to track sometimes.
Yeah. So she explains what Rune wants to help the Medwitch do, which is to provide, crystallos venom. Bryce tentatively suggests they try to summon a demon, but Hunt assertively shuts it down. When she tries to argue, he looks at her with emotion, saying that he can't watch her be at risk like that. Ooh, somebody's feeling feelings. He gets a message from Micah to come into the Ox tells her he'll be back. She tepidly agrees to not summon a demon in his absence.
Fine. It was apparently acceptance enough for Hunt to leave, but not before ruffling her hair and leaning down to whisper, his lips brushing the curve of her ear.
JJ would be proud of you.
Her toes curled in her slippers and stayed that way long after he'd left. Man, always with the toe curling. Baby, man.
You know, something's coming.
Man. Start slipping once the toes start curling, everybody.
Cut to the next morning, and Bryce is walking towards the kitchen where Hunt is making breakfast. He suddenly goes alert, like he's looking for danger. He tells her she's bleeding. She's like, yeah, bitch, it's my period.
This is, we talked about this for many times in the world of Twilight. You think about the world of the Fae, of things that can be smelled and things that can be, that they are attuned to. That would just be so annoying. Yeah, bitch, I'm bleeding. Deal with it. And then he's like, shouldn't he be used to it at this point and know know what it means? Like the feeling and the smell of someone bleeding periodly, it's gotta be different than getting sliced.
It has to be because it's completely different, texture and stuff.
Right?
There's you're sloughing off.
Yeah, it's
ovaries.
Man, they love the word sloughing when talking about the uterus. I tell you, man. Just scoop it right out of there.
Scooping it. But anyway, we get some period lore. We actually already kind of learned this in ACOTAR, if you are following ACOTAR stuff, that Fae have rare periods. Bryce, being a half human, half Fae, kind of landed in the middle, where she gets one every 3 months, which doesn't sound like a bad deal.
No.
Hunt responds appropriately awkwardly. Do you need something? Which is technically very sweet.
It is.
It's like he doesn't know what to do. So he's just like, I can give you eggs.
I'm glad that so much has changed in the dynamics of partnerships that this is not hopefully not accepted behavior anymore of just someone going, if you have your period, if you are in a relationship with a person that does not have a period. It's like everybody knows that a person that has uterus might be bleeding once a month. And for that to be like
yeah,
get over it.
Yeah, it's so performative too. Like, shut the fuck up.
But I know Hunt is not doing that in this instance.
No.
He is doing it, but it just sometimes when that kind of stuff, when I see that stuff in like sitcoms, I'm like, it's the year 2025.
Are they still doing that in sitcoms?
I assume
maybe like the Tim Allen one.
And he's got so many sitcoms. And I hear about all of them from my mother.
My mother loves them.
Oh, my mother loves them. And then she'll like repeat back a joke to me, and I'm just like, you know that like we don't need to have these kind of gender stereotypes anymore, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Someday the boomers won't be here anymore and we will have different sitcoms.
Can you believe in such recent time husbands they were too mortified to buy tampons for their wives, like at the store. Like, what? What do you mean? I don't. How do I pick?
I completely understood back in the day when Murder Fist used to do this. That was my old sketch group that I did with a lot of people at LPN. We used to make blood condoms, and they would always send me to go get the condoms, not because they didn't want to buy condoms, but because you specifically had to buy unlubricated condoms, and they didn't. And I'd have to go and buy a party size of unlubricated condoms, and they didn't want to seem like creepus, and that I understand. So what I would do is I'd always make a joke like, yeah, I like it when it's more difficult. I think it's better this way when it's not slid right in, and I would go above and beyond to make, but then you're just making the person checking you out uncomfortable. You don't have to do that either.
Yeah, they're probably not even thinking about it, but then
I'm
you bring it up. Right.
I have to make a joke about it. Or else I'm just a 22-year-old buying 56 unlubricated condoms.
Yep.
Anyway.
That old tale.
Yeah. Periods. Wow.
So he swiftly drops the subject as he's handing her the breakfast that he's made her, which is
very
adorable.
Sweet.
Over breakfast, Hunt gently suggests that they try some different points of view about the horn, but Bryce sort of cuts him off, saying, "Oh, I can't actually work on it today. Jessica needs a bunch of stuff done at the library, and also you can't come down to the library because she's gonna be watching the cameras."
Hunt, do you think you could just lie to the Umbra Mortis? You do realize still at the end of the day, he's the Umbra Mortis.
And he obviously knows she's lying because she clearly wants to go look stuff up without him watching over her shoulder.
Yeah.
But he allows her to just make the lie because he likes her.
Yeah. How dare he allow her to have any freedom of choice? But he does because he kind of wants to fuck her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He really wants to fuck her.
Oh, yeah, he does. Cut to later in the day, and Bryce is in the basement of Griffin's looking for more info on the horn and how it might connect to the synth. Because, Hunt doesn't really want to follow this path. He's like, it could be, but I think we need to start from the beginning and try some other stuff out. And she's like, yeah, well, anyway, you can't come inside today. So Hunt has respectfully remained on the roof. She's not getting anywhere, and she's getting frustrated to the point where she has to apologize to Leheba for being mean and snapping at her.
Never yell at Lily.
Don't yell at Lily. Both females are periodically startled by the knock that Jessica has so graciously added to the aquarium who we met. Lily warns Bryce to be careful when feeding him, and then that leads Bryce to think about the feeding process, which involves opening a hatch at the top of the aquarium, placing food on a platform, which then sinks into the water when you hit a switch.
It's kind of like how Jeff feeds me as well, because you can't get close to my Nashers or else I go to town.
Are you in a tank?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's like one of those oxygen tanks, so I'm just like kind of high and laying on the bottom being like, yeah.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Give me another chicken, Jeff. But they do have to be alive. I like to watch the life
like
leave their
RFK?
eyes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I always compare my life to RFK's.
Yeah, I know,
Like,
I
there's
know.
just so many idiosyncrasies.
So
Kind of
crazy.
nuts.
You were engaged to Cheryl Hines for a while. I forgot about that time in your life.
Yeah, and I was like, bitch, you got to start selling candles. And she did.
And she did. Near us. We've seen her in the
She
booth.
sells
It's really weird.
candles near us. I want to ask her about RFK so desperately.
No, it's too late. It's over, baby.
It's over.
Bryce hasn't been too worried thus far because the Noch can't breathe air and it will kill him swiftly if he even comes out for like a second. Besides that, he always hides in the rocks at the bottom when she drops all of his steaks in, which is, wow, look at him fancy getting steaks.
What are
Or
we at
it.
an Outback? Yeah, please. How dare you with the
I
pronouns?
misgendered, I'm sorry. That does little to soothe Lily, who is petrified of it. It. I keep calling it a him because I just think his energy is toxic.
Interesting. Wow. Because he wants to put you down?
Yes.
But it's an it.
It's an it. Filled with sorrow, Lily asks Bryce why Jessica keeps her in the knock, that she's a person and she doesn't deserve to be owned. Bryce, who's stressed and being short with Lily, tells her that's how the world works, with the Asteria and the angels in charge, so just get over it.
Bryce.
Lily asks if Bryce ever wondered what life would be like without the Asteria in charge, which sets Bryce into an angry panic. She demands Lily to be quiet. Big Brother is always watching and all that. She does not want her to express dissension or it will be the guillotine for them both.
Oh my God, but think of how little that guillotine
would
would
be
be.
cute.
It would be kind of cute. As they like pulled her up.
Oh, no.
I can't
Wait, you're
even make
thinking-
the joke.
You're thinking of a hangman.
Yeah, I was thinking of the game Hangman. Hangman.
Because you were pulling. Are we talking about her getting pulled up?
Yeah, I was imagining the executioner pulling her up by her neck on it.
Oh, that's a noose. A
Yeah.
guillotine is the thing that chops.
Oh, yeah. We'll chop her head off either way. Snap her neck. I want that little cute thing dead.
And then you're going to roast her.
Yeah, give me that corpse taking her hair so I can have a laugh at work.
Oh, God. All right. Lily, we're at weird energy today. Lily huffs, saying Hunt talks to her about it.
It's Amelie. Amelie is taking over my spirit. It's not my fault.
I know. I know. It's not. Don't blame her.
Thank you.
Lily says, well, Hunt talks to me about it, to which Bryce shoots back. He's already a slave and he has nothing to lose.
Bryce, she's in a weird energy today.
She's going through some feelings, but she's taking them out on Lily, which is not cool.
Not cool.
Don't say such things, baby.
Laba hissed.
There's always something left to lose. Ouch.
Lily, I love you.
And it's unfortunately true.
It's why I have her now tattooed on my body. Yes, everyone. Leba is a large part of my SJM tattoo because I need her with me always.
Oh, wait, but don't, if you even read the book yet.
Lily.
Don't say it.
I'm sorry.
We cut over to Hunt's POV on the roof, and he's worried about Bryce. Sort of going, I wonder if she's mad at me.
Oh.
So he waits.
I love an emo boy, though. Especially he's broody on the roof.
Broody and moody.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, in theory. We've talked about this. In theory,
know, in
that's fun. In
theory.
real life, in IRL, not so great in
Have some
application.
confidence, damn it.
Yeah. So he waits on lookout all day where he said he would remain on the roof. And then as she's leaving for the night, he follows her from the sky, maybe giving her a little space. To his surprise, though, she doesn't aim for home. Instead, she walks into a bakery, quickly walks out again, holding a box, after which she seems to head towards the river. Hunt just keeps an eye on her. Finally, she sits on a bench facing the water. And after a minute,
Sick of waiting until she deigned to talk to him about whatever was eating her up. Hunt landed quietly before sliding onto the bench's wooden planks, the box between them.
What's up?
He couldn't take it anymore.
No, it's just like it's like 3 hours.
It's so cute. I mean, she's been sitting there for quite some time. Sometimes you got to sit and stare and raw dog for a bit.
Oh, sure. He can see Bryce is sad, and after a moment, she reveals that it's Danika's 25th birthday. She tells him no one else remembered. That they did last year. All of the people who loved her did make sure to check in on one another. But they all forgot or chose to move on the second year around. This, of course, would be tragic.
But it is a part of the process of grief, and not to
And everybody
say-
processes it differently.
It differently.
Yeah.
And some people want to still celebrate and be in it, and some people, it's easier for them to just forget or move on, and they have to for their own self-preservation. And it's so, I love that SJM does, work in the world of grief
Yeah.
very well. I feel like, I think that she gives a lot of respect to it.
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful, because it hurts when other people move on and you haven't yet.
Especially if those friends are also not even checking on you to see if you're okay.
Yeah.
When she tells him that what she got at the bakery was a pile of chocolate croissants because they were Danika's favorite and she always wanted them on her birthdays, he realizes his parade of memories goes through his head of her eating those in the recent weeks, and he wonders if it's a way for her to keep Danika close to her. She tells him she can't move on the way everyone else seems to have done. So even though everybody else is kind of utilizing their grief to just like move forward, she feels stuck. She feels like she's like perpetually in this cycle of grief. And then I guess in order to relate, he goes into a reverie about Shahar, which is like...
It's like, bro, there is a time and a place. Like, I understand, but that is his biggest grief. Like, to him,
I know.
it makes sense that he wants to connect. You're right, it is to connect, but also it's like, don't bring up the bitch you used to be in love with.
Like, clearly Bryce like has feelings for you. I don't know. I obviously,
but I know
I'm having a very immature response to it, but I'm just like,
you like me now.
Shahar right now? You're like Bryce is already like sad.
I think
It's
you're
like-
also seeing it like you're putting yourself in that position that if you were in that place of just like, I can't think about you and the other person you love right now, okay?
Yeah. But again, she's also trying to still pretend that she doesn't have feelings for him at this
Right.
point. So she's like, yeah, oh, wow, yes, that's so sad for you. But he talks about Shahar, that he fell in love with her the moment he saw her. And she helped him recover from the grief of losing his mother.
Whoa, there's a lot to unpack there,
Yeah.
Hunt. There's a lot more that needs to be discussed
Yeah.
that I don't know if Bryce is capable of doing right now.
Me personally, none of that that information would make me hot.
No.
But go off, King.
But also, it is good that he has so many emotions, because, like, I want to be like, yikes, red flag, red flag, red flag. But in reality, if I were in that situation, of course, I would melt and just think about, like, him even being able to communicate his feelings, Like, think of the men that she's surrounded by in her life and also her friends. How dare I say the men? The people in Bryce's life that are not very good at communicating their emotions.
No, I think that I'm being immature in the situation. I think he's trying to share his feelings with her and not in a weird way.
Yes, but I think that your immaturity towards it is completely valid.
Thank you.
Like, I like you.
Bryce wants to know if he still loves Shahar that much. And he says that he'll always love her for the fact that she brought him out of his sorrow. Which,
That makes me melt.
yeah, because at least in that moment he's saying, well, like, she's special because of this, and not just being like, yes, I'll always hold a flame in my heart for her and nothing will
was
change
my
it.
only, because everybody knows that if you have loved passionately before, they always, no matter what happens with it, it always is a portion
Oh,
of
yeah.
you that was a large part of your heart for a long time. And that's always going to be complicated. And sometimes it's not complicated. And you're like, I wish that part of me never existed, but it's still in there.
Oh, yeah. I just realized, does Fury have fey ears?
I don't think so.
Not to completely just derail what you were just saying.
No, I don't think
Wait,
so.
You guys, I have to check now. Hang on.
Because if she has fey ears and
We
you
have to
don't
start
right
this
now,
episode
I will
over.
flip out. I'm going to puke all over the table. Onyx hair, mysterious woman, yeah. Veneer class, yeah. Doesn't say.
Damn.
Although her hair is in a short bob right now, and how dare you not have a haircut?
Her haircut doesn't happen until the second book.
Oh, okay. So take that physical description.
She wears a high ponytail until later in the series.
I mean, she has
Spoiler, guys. She gets a haircut.
you know what? We might need to edit that out. I don't know if we can know this information yet. It doesn't say, and I feel like it would say she had fey ears if she did.
Wait, what kind of veneer is she? Oh, they don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
unknown.
Yeah, they just know that she's got preternatural speed, grace, and reflexes of the veneer, but just the veneer. So I feel like they would know if she had fey ears.
Interesting. Chat, let us know what you think about her ears.
But that's good because I was ready to start this
over.
episode again.
Yeah, I felt ashamed. But so even though I have my feelings about his discussion, it didn't deter Bryce.
No.
Because after this information, she calls him her mirror. I guess because they're both lamenting over women who were cut down in their early years and their grieving processes. Hun seems to agree with her and asks her if she thinks that that's bad.
A half smile tugged at the corner of her mouth.
No, it isn't. So
you have all of these cutest moments, and I guess, it's good. Even though a little horny girl over here, I'm just like, no, you must make now. But it's good. It elongates it. It makes you really want it when it happens. I think it's good to wait.
I've literally never done that. I was just going through all my. Oh no!
Hell yeah! I love it.
Oh no!
But it's good. It makes it mean more.
So they.
I was gonna keep making that sound.
This is like kind of a big admission on both sides that they're like, I guess we're mirrors of each other. Do we need to get one of those best friend necklaces that's like a heart and
oh my god, that
and
would
wear
be
them?
really cute.
Also, this emotional moment when she calls him her friend and acknowledges that she gives him shit, even though like she gives him shit, that he puts up with it. That he doesn't run away from her rawest self.
He's not scared.
He's not scared
of the real her.
He smiles big and tells her that he likes all of that.
Oh, and it's just whenever like even just like the mention of him smiling big and just like the smile going to his eyes, you know how rare that is for Hunt, and it just
and you know it's fine as hell.
Here it is.
They both seem more at peace after this, and Bryce goes to wish Danika a happy birthday by opening the box that sits between them. His eyes on her face and not at the box. Hunt watches her smile falter, and she quickly closes the lid back up. She attempts to grab the box away from him, but he's quicker and snatches the box into his lap.
Inside lay half a dozen croissants, carefully arranged in a pile. And on the top one, artfully written in a chocolate drizzle, was one word. Trash.
Jesus Christ.
On the croissants, you fuckers.
You got nothing else to do?
You do that on the croissant. It's like, okay, I guess write it on the inside of the box. You're gonna fuck up my croissant. You can say a lot of shit to me, Don't fuck with my food.
I mean, I'd still eat it.
Of
Go
course
ahead.
I'd still eat it.
Thanks for the free
I'd
chocolate,
suck the
idiot.
chocolate off. Yes, I certainly would. But don't fuck with her food.
Yeah, it's fucked up. He watches Bryce's face flush with embarrassment and grief. Rage clouds his judgment as she implores him to just throw it away and forget about this.
He had a good idea of who had done it, who'd had the message altered, who had shouted that same word, trash, at Bryce the other week when they'd left the den.
Don't.
Bryce pleaded, but Hunt was already airborne.
Why'd you do it, Amelie?
I'm a bitch. I'm a deceitful bitch. And I don't have the courage to go after you, even though, yeah, I already said trash to your face. But then you're gonna go and fuck with a bitch's food. You're gonna go to an open establishment to fuck with a bitch's food. I wanna shave her head myself and put her hair back on my head and dance around in her skin and be like, who's the corpse now, bitch?
Oh, no. Oh, wow. This
Don't
took
fuck
a
with my
turn.
food. I guess I just need really everyone to know not to
won't.
fuck with my food.
I
Like,
will not
ever.
do that.
I will corpse dance.
Oh, man. Amelie Ravenscroft, of course.
I'm a bitch. I'm a pigtail bitch.
We cut to just shortly later as Hunt barrels through the front door of Moonwood Bar, which sounds cool and I want to go
I
there.
know. Oh, thank God there's a whole world of werewolves in The Sims now, because there is a
Thank
whole Ravenwood. Like,
God.
there's this, I forget the name of where you go, like the space for the werewolves, and like, so I can do this without Amelie. Or I guess, oh my God, do I have to build Amelie and then kill her in the game?
I guess.
All right. Well, I know what I'm doing next week on The Sims.
This is the Ox's intel has told Hunt where Amelie is at the moment. She's getting her drink on at this Moonwood Bar.
Like a bitch.
When Hunt appears, she looks smug, as though she imagines she's just going to be taunting him, knowing he can't really do anything.
Even though you're big and scary.
But he's past the point of reason.
Uh-oh.
She doesn't know just how hard he is for Bryce.
Uh-oh.
Hard enough that he's willing to take severe punishment from Micah to make his point clear. Before Amelie can get 3 words out, he's wall slammed her in a chokehold. He spits out that she is to never look at, think about, or speak of Bryce Quinlan ever again.
Amelie scratched at his wrists, her boots kicking at his shins. He only tightened his grip, lightning wrapped around her throat.
Do you understand?
His voice was frozen, utterly calm, the voice of the Umbra Mortis. He shouldn't! No, he shouldn't do it!
I mean, no, he shouldn't, because he should get in trouble. But in this realm, Amelie is a warrior opponent, so I feel like it's okay. Genderedly.
Oh yeah. I'm not upset gender-wise. No. Amelie is very strong. I mean,
Yes, she's a
I'm not.
wolf.
No, he goes after her because he knows she's strong. He's
Right.
not like I feel like
He's not bullying her.
no, he's going after a worthy opponent. So I actually think it's even better that he views her as an opponent of like, I'm not looking down on you and your powers and your skill just because you're a woman. I know how strong you are, and
Yeah.
I'm going to treat you appropriately.
Mm.
Take that, Amelie.
But he shouldn't be doing this because there's going to be a hell to pay.
Don't, I can't.
Ethan appears suddenly and questions what's happening, but surprisingly doesn't challenge Hunt in this moment, only asks what Amelie did. So that leads me to believe he knows how much they've been tormenting Bryce
Everybody knows I'm a bitch.
and lets it happen,
Yes.
which that's another story.
And also, not only lets it happen, but like Amelie, you should look into that as well about your feelings about Ethan, the fact that he did not come protect you and did not come to your aid, and not in a way of like, she's strong, she can take care of herself, in the way of, you're a bitch and what did you do?
But she was actually in love with Connor,
With
right?
Connor, yeah.
He zaps her enough that she tries to fight off agreeing to these terms, but eventually she nods that she will lose Bryce Quinlan from her vocabulary.
Yeah, you damn right. And also, I was thinking more in the pack manner rather than like the love manner.
Oh, I see.
That
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he didn't like immediately go in and protect her from it. Of
Right,
just like
they're
a
supposed to be like a unit.
yeah, like that's of just like a nah, you're a bitch.
You did it to yourself. Hunt releases her and watches Ethan's face as recognition dawns on him, the fact that it's Danica's birthday. And he has the dignity to look ashamed, at least. He has the, is that the right word? He has the...
audacity.
No, I was going to say he
should be ashamed.
He at least has the class to look ashamed, I guess. He storms out only to find Bryce on the roof on a phone call, panicked, trying to find him. Atypical for her, when he touches down on the apartment roof, she's not angry and demanding. She looks almost like she's terrified.
Yeah, because he's the Umbra Mortis.
Though she does call him an idiot. She asks him if Amelie is dead. Her fear is of what will happen to Hunt. He seems to realize it in that moment.
Hunt crossed the distance between them, took her hands.
You're my mirror. You said so yourself.
He was shaking. For some reason, he was shaking as he waited for her to respond. Bryce looked at her hands, gripped in his, as she answered.
Yes. Then it's the next morning.
Oh, you think you're just like, okay, is this it? Are they? Is it?
Nah.
No. Not cut to the next morning. All right, great.
We find Bryce making an appointment with the unnamed Medwitch. When she greets Hunt in the kitchen, she reveals to him that she's going to help the Medwitch get crystallos venom. She means, of course, from her old wound. So she is ready to extract what is causing her ailment.
Good for you, bitch.
That seems like, yes, of course she does want to help the cause. She wants to find out what's going on. But is she also emotionally healing and ready?
Starting to move on, starting to grow, starting to realize her growth as well.
Because there's a couple extra muscles in her life now.
But also, I just want to beat the shit out of Amelie.
Oh, yeah, she's annoying.
God, she's so annoying. She thinks she's so right, too.
Oh, yeah, she definitely does.
And I'm really glad that this wig is way too small for my head because it makes my head so tight as her. And I feel like she would be this tight.
Yeah, I think so. She's wound up.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get them cobwebs out. No time soon. You too much of a bitch.
Or not enough.
Think about it.